nice to have you with us on a Thursday afternoon here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Kicking over broadcast day on a great SiriusXM 82. Yours truly, Christopher Russo, as we mill about and get you going here on this busy afternoon with on the first day of April 2021. Eddie Erickson's trying today. Colin Schmeling, of course, will man the phones and man the building. And Eddie would chip in as we chat to you about what's cooking as far as sports talk is concerned and the sports world. We got some things to do this afternoon, including give you a little feel of baseball as it kicks off here today with opening days, even with some bad weather sprinkled around the globe. And let's start there here. We got obviously a little Bob Kraft information. You got a little NCAA information with Roy Williams. We'll do that a little later on. Obviously, the NBA is still moving along as we chat and babble on this Thursday afternoon. We get out of March. We move into April. We should be in good shape now. The next couple of weeks specifically with Final Four this weekend, baseball sprinkled in on a game-in, game-out basis, and, of course, then the Masters next week. And that's the great thing about baseball first, and it starts today, and whether you like it, and I understand in 2021, a lot of people, especially the people that are doing radio and TV, pay very little attention to it. We've discussed this before. It just does not seem to be part of the national conversation. I think people are just much more comfortable talking about football and pounding football at you 12 days, 5 days a week, 12 months a year, and then sprinkling a little NBA if you're Evan Roberts or Evan Roberts, that too, Evan Cohen from that perspective. But the great thing about baseball is, and it starts today, games, Yankees are 2-2 bottom 6 against Toronto amongst your scores. And then I'm going to come back and get on baseball, so we'll do the positives first. The good thing about baseball is the idea that it is a great companion piece. It is a sport that opens up here on April 1st. Forget spring training. Opens up on April 1st, and the NCAA tournament is not yet been closed for the 2020 and 2021 season. It opens up in some bad weather where it's still cold and snow flurry, or flurry, as it is in Detroit today, it's Cincinnati. And then it, goes through the month of April, goes through a Masters, goes through all the, the aspects of, Kentucky derbies and the beginning of the NBA playoffs and the beginning of the NHL playoffs and, some tennis and some golf and all that. It takes you into the, the bridge of summer. And then, with football, gets out of their OTAs and, takes their little respite in June. And baseball is still going strong. And baseball takes you through the month of June, the month of July. All the other sports are concluding, whether it's the NBA, the NHL, golf's getting their majors out of the way. So is tennis. Wimbledon's done. Football's draft is over. The schedule's out for 2021 and beyond. So it really is, it just goes on its merry way on a day in, day out basis as the great companion, as the great book. Open up that first chapter and you keep on reading. It's about a 550-page book, but it's a classic. And there's things in it on an each chapter basis, which is gripping and interesting and riveting. And, as you move it along with baseball, you get into deep in the summer. It has its down periods. It gets dull. The monotony of it all does hit home. You could take a 3-week vacation, not miss a whole hell of a lot. You come back from wherever you go and realize, oh, yeah, that's right, baseball's still going on, and see where your team is, see where your players are, see what the standings look like. And then you get into, late summer, early fall, and football is revved up. It's not too far from week 1 in the NFL. College, starts their season in late August, for crying out loud. You got that going, too. And then, of course, you move into the early part of September. The NFL football season is still going, getting underway with their 17 weeks. Baseball is still trying to figure out who's in the playoffs and who isn't in the month of September. And baseball just, the weather turns a little bit. It gets a little colder, a little brisker at night. You see people wearing jackets and hats to ball games and everything else. But then baseball, wraps up its regular season. They play that 3 o'clock game on a Sunday afternoon. It's like week 5 of the NFL, or week 4 when they get that last game of the year in, October 1st or 2nd, whatever it might be. And then the playoffs, which is short and sweet. That's the great thing about baseball. The baseball postseason is 3.5 weeks. That's it. That's all it is. It's not long. The NBA postseason never ends. The NHL postseason never ends. The football, season goes a long way, too. It goes right until February now at the 17th week. Baseball's postseason goes on and in and out It does a pretty good job. It's pretty quick. And then, of course, you crown your champion, and there you have it. It starts when one basketball season is concluding, and it finishes when the next basketball season is beginning. That's the best way to explain it. Lemonade out in the back porch on a hot Sunday afternoon. You can follow it. There are different ways to follow it. Unlike the other sports, baseball works on radio. Football does not work on radio. The NBA does not work on radio. The NHL does not work on radio. Sometimes you go to the radio because it's inevitable. You're in a car and there's a game on. You want to see what's going on. So you have to find the local team that is playing that day, whether it's football, hockey, or the NBA. Find it on the radio, but it does not work on the radio. Baseball works on the radio. Some of your great broadcasters historically are radio guys. Barber, Ernie Harwell, Mel Allen. They're radio guys. They learned Chuck Thompson, Bill O'Donnell, of Scully. They learned it on the radio. And baseball still has that charm about it where you can follow it every which way you want without having to watch every game. Follow it in the newspapers, follow it on your phone, follow it on the radio. And there's a million ways. And that's the great thing, because one game is not so imperative that you have to be there. It's not Game 7 of the World Series. And you know baseball so well. You know the dimensions of the field. You know what a ground ball to second base looks like. You know all this. You've seen a million home runs. So if you hear it described on radio and you have a good person who's describing it, you can follow right along. That's the greatness of baseball. And it's the only game, of course, without a clock. So the game is never over until you get that 27th out. Time doesn't run out on baseball. The outs do. Time doesn't. And it's back. Last year was we all know what it was. It was a journey to make sure they got the TV money. They had to play. They did. And, thank goodness they did. The 60-game season was legit. But we didn't have an opening day last year. This opening day is still not quite the same, but it's an opening day nevertheless, and it means something. It's fun to have an afternoon ball game on April 1st, and a game counts. Whether there's 5,000 people in the stands or nobody in the stands, the game still counts. And there's an intensity about it. Opening day is a special day in American sport. It always has been, always will be, whether you're a baseball fan or not. And most of us, or most of the folks who follow the sports today who are on TV and radio are not baseball fans. They don't understand the charm of it. They don't understand the subtleties of it. And that's partly baseball's fault. It's slow. It's drawn out. It's tedious. It's long. But still, at the end of the day, as Dave Anderson used to tell me all the time, the legendary Hall of Fame, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the New York Times, baseball at its best, at the ultimate, which might be a Game 7 in October, but at its ultimate is still the best game. Is still the best game. At its ultimate. Day to day, it isn't. At the ultimate, it is. 11 after the hour. I'll come back and bash baseball right after this quick break. Stick with us.